my back is sweating from drinking hot tea. My front is sweating. I have sweats on. I'm sweating.
Sean, your microphone is on.
Oh,
Sean,
sorry.
your microphone is on.
sorry.
Why do you think they call it sweats? Do you think they call it sweats because you're supposed to sweat in those
Inside
those clothes?
Yeah, probably.
But like, what did they not invent
this
shorts?
No.
But did
I
they
feel
not
like I'm
have
in the
shorts?
center of a genius sandwich. Fucking hell.
But like, why would you? If you're gonna make sweats, why did they not have shorts back then?
No, I know. They need like a pull away sweat so they could just
They've got
switch
those.
them from sweats to shorts like in a second.
Yeah, you ever watch a basketball game? You'll see one of those.
Oh, I want some of those.
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Holy Christ.
do it after this record. We're gonna do a quick SmartLess real quick.
Oh, it's an all new SmartLess.
SmartLess.
Hey, good morning. Is this better for everybody? 9:30 in the morning?
Hi, is the
7 at night?
morning better now?
How about-
We're going to have a little less complain.
Who's complaining?
No, we had a few late night. Well, one of them you called a late night. It was at 4
Yeah,
p.m.
I was already in my pajamas.
Oh, well, that's pretty late.
I know.
That's a late night, unless you're in Hawaii.
I know.
You know, and it's lunch. Right now, it's lunch in New York City.
It's lunch in New York City, yeah.
But it's breakfast here in L.A.
Yeah.
It is. Look, I got my tea.
Morning, you guys. What did you guys have for breakfast this morning?
Nothing yet.
Really?
I actually had a piece of toast with some natural peanut butter and a couple of slices of banana on top.
Sounds fun.
I wasn't feeling great this morning.
Oh, really?
What happened?
I don't know.
What's is it tummy? Is it
Yeah,
back?
a little tummy and baby woke up in the night. Well, he's not a baby anymore, but a little throw up in the middle of the night.
Oh, my God. Ricky threw up last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe Denny got into your trash.
Maybe.
It's Ricky.
I don't eat till noon.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Stop
and then
showing off.
and then it's fucking watch
And then
out.
it's-
Everything's
really-
in trouble.
It
Do you
really
really
is.
do you do that like that fasting thing?
Is that what time the timer on the locks goes off on the
The
cabinet?
cabinet.
That's what Scotty set all the timers for.
Yeah, you can hear the tick.
Are you doing a let's not eat for 12
sure.
hours thing?
Yeah, sure. I'm just never been hungry ever in my whole life in the morning. First time I eat is, but you are right about the watch out. I eat everything.
And then
I'm
you'll go
so
late?
hungry.
Will you eat late?
No, and then I'll have a really little dinner. That's
Well,
it. And then snacks.
let's check the tape on that.
Yeah.
Will, can we run the tape on that?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say,
That's true.
wait, little what? A little heavy on the cheese? Like, what are we?
No, I eat just a little, but I eat little portions so I can eat big desserts.
Right.
Yeah.
You save the room for the dessert.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That makes
Jay,
sense.
yesterday, Will FaceTimed me. I was in the middle of therapy. And I was like, yeah, I'll pick it up. And she's like, oh, excuse me. And I was like, yeah. My therapist is like, oh, what are you doing? And he says, the first thing he says is, hey, man. I go, hey. He goes, I'm in therapy. And I showed a picture. I turned the camera around. And my therapist is like, hello. And he goes, oh, my therapist just died. I was like, really? And he said, he collapsed from the weight of my secrets. That was pretty funny.
It's true.
Do you often take calls during therapy?
No, but my phone just happened to be like the flap open. You know, you call it my purse.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah, and I
Your
saw
book,
that it was him. I was
your
like,
phone
oh,
book.
my phone book.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Gosh, should we get into it?
This is fun. Are we done?
Is it too early to do a podcast? I
No,
feel
it's not
like
too early.
We're still in bed.
No, it's not too early. I'm just a little quiet today. Like I said, I'm feeling very, maybe it's made me-
Spilkus? What's the Yiddish term?
Because you didn't sleep. You're a little LGD, low grade depression.
Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. I want to call it that, but maybe it is. But also just very kind of pensive.
Yeah, that's
very
what it
sort of
is. You didn't
serious.
sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what
that's
happened.
all right because you know he's going to put a nice wash of warmth and positivity over your day.
Okay, our guest is like, great. I got to lift the hosts up.
Yeah. Here she comes. Our
Uh-oh.
guest is an actor so filled with taste, talent, and accomplishment. I feel classy just thinking about her, you guys. She's got the awards and nominations, sure, a long list of impressive films and a stack of big shot co-stars and directors. But most impressive, Will, is her particular kind of light that she sends out from the character she plays. It's always something authentic. It's fully human, often complex, but somehow fully relatable.
Right.
We never catch her acting, Will. It always just feels like we're spying on a character caught in the middle of something. You know, Sean?
Yeah, sure.
How does she do
Like
it?
the way he personalizes
Does
it.
she enjoy it?
Hope we're going to find out.
What else does she do? Hobbies? What's
don't
it
know.
like being married to a rock star? Does she prefer coffee, tea, cake, pie, Beyonce, or Tay-Tay? Guys, let's figure it all out. Please welcome Carey Mulligan.
Oh,
Hi, Carey.
Guys.
Oh, Will, don't you feel warm and washed?
I do. I am a particular fan of Carey's.
Well,
I'm a huge fan
It's
of
true.
Carey.
well,
Carey, it's true. I told you I have had the pleasure. I've had the
Gift.
of seeing Carey's latest performance in Maestro, and it has rocked me since the day I've seen it. Carey,
it
I've been
will
telling
rock
everybody. I don't want to
anyone.
embarrass you.
you're so
No.
sweet.
It's true.
I was so nervous when you were at. Hi everyone, by the way. Hi. I'm so
Hi,
excited.
Carey.
This is so
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. I was so nervous that you were at Bradley's house when we had that screening, and all I wanted to say the whole night was, Marcus and I fall asleep to Arrested Development. Not in a falling asleep way, but like that's our
No,
show.
you said it.
That's
You've already said it.
We literally, I can quote the show, and I was too nervous to say anything. And afterwards, Marcus was like, "Why were you so cool? You should have just said it." And I was like, "I can't." But I was so excited and so nervous for you to see it, and it meant the world that you liked it. So, hooray!
God, please.
Loved
Hooray.
it. Loved
I can't
it.
wait to see it.
But Carey, God, it is. Jason, you're right. Carey, you have done so many.
Look at how up Will is
I know.
already.
I know.
Like, Carey, you've been listening
true.
so far.
I know.
He was down.
I'm
He was
sorry
in
you
his
had a
tummy.
bad night.
Right? And then you just woke him up
Yeah.
into
Yeah, okay.
love.
Well, you know what it's like with the little ones,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So little Denny woke up at 1, and then he barfed in his bed, and then he came into our bed, then he barfed in our bed.
Oh,
Then we stripped all the sheets. It was
Yeah.
1:15, and we're stripping the sheets, and he's on the thing. He's got all this pacifier, and he goes, "Where are we going to sleep?"
oh, but I know. I've done that.
So you've been there.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
You know,
doing
why
that
don't
now.
you could treat him just like a dog, and put him in a room locked up where you don't hear if he starts crying
Yeah.
or yelling or
Can't go wrong.
yapping or barking.
Yeah.
And the throw up you can deal with in the morning.
Yeah, see how that goes.
Where did you sleep, Will? Where did you end up sleeping?
Well, God, it was a real hodgepodge that all night. I slept on one side of our bed, and then Sandra took him back and was in with his bed. But one of the good things, and then we'll stop this and we'll get into Carey, is that he knows how to throw up in in a bucket.
Oh, good.
We taught him that, and at first he was like, "Wait, I'm gonna." No, and now he's like, I have to be sick now, and then he goes over and does it, and it's really sweet that he's learned that. So
Maybe get a pail he can just kind of put over his head, like a little handle, and just kind of hangs around his head like a necklace.
I'm going to say your parenting tips are they're bordering on dangerous, a lot of them.
Disclaimer.
Show him to the bed next time.
So, Carey Mulligan, where are we finding you right now? God, it's great to see you.
I'm in LA.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Doing the stuff.
Oh, yeah, for the little press tour for the movie.
So our film comes out very soon. So it worked out that we just suddenly went from 0 to 60 and jumped on flights, and so now we're here.
Right, because the strike went away, and you could talk about this thing that I'm sure you and Bradley are excited to discuss because it is so damn good. I think we've all done projects where it's like, oh, now I got to go talk about how great it is, in quotes.
Yeah.
Right.
But this one truly is.
I know
easy
it's
to talk
so
about
nice
all
to
that.
not have to lie. It's so nice to just.
Carey, can I just say, and again, at the risk of embarrassing you, and people will be able to can see Maestro in theaters and then be able to watch it on Netflix. I don't want to embarrass you. I think that your performance in Maestro is one of the great performances I've seen in the last 20 years. I really do.
my
It
God.
really
Can't
is so
wait.
moving and beautiful. And there's
Sean, you
something
won't get it.
I won't get it.
Sean won't get it because it's not in
There's music,
space.
there's pianos and stuff in it.
It's not for him.
But yeah, Sean, the music part. Sean, it's gonna blow you away as
The
a
whole thing will
musician
blow you
and as a
away, Sean.
pianist. The whole thing. But Carey, you do, and obviously Bradley is incredible in every way. But Carey, there's something about what you've done in this film that I honestly, it's transformative. I hate using the word because it's so gross, and we always shy away from certain sort of catchphrases that we as actors often, or filmmakers or whatever, often use.
I hope he says storyteller.
I'm not going to say storyteller, but you truly are an artist. I really mean that.
Tight second.
It is a tight second. I'm followed only very closely by in the physically doing pray hands, but truly. So I just want to say that if whatever you do, if there ever is an endorsement that we've ever done on this show, this is one. Please see Carey Mulligan in Maestro.
Yeah.
That's so lovely.
I have a question about it because I didn't get. Bradley showed me like clips early on, and he invited me to one screening and I couldn't go, but I can't wait to see it. But I've heard only great things like Will's saying. When you do a role like that, how much prep time do you give yourself? How much work do you put into it before you start day one? And how nervous are you in playing such an incredible character on the first day of filming? Where do you get the confidence of like, I think I got this. Are we rolling? Watch this. Watch what I'm going to do with this.
Oh God, yeah.
It's so scary, right?
I don't know. I don't think I've had a part like this. I mean, I've had parts. I sort of feel like I've had parts like this on stage. Like really, really rich, big, kind of sort of something epic about them parts, but not. Like amazing. I've had such amazing, luck with jobs. But on screen, when he offered it to me, I was shocked because first of all, I thought, "Oh, you think I can act? That's so nice." But secondly, that just I don't know. It was like he'd just done a Star Wars one. He could have, it was just wild to think like, "Oh gosh, you're trusting me with this." But within that conversation, he said, "If you're going to do this, you have to go all in." And I thought like. Oh God, not like all in, but it's not. I don't, I've always sort of been a bit like, people keeping their dialect in between scenes and things. I've been like,
right. Everyone's got different processes. Different definitions of all in.
Yeah, but then I was like, I think I have to do Bradley's all in, which is, as you will know, like
all in.
Yeah, sounds so good when you say it.
Yeah, and with this one particularly, he had to be all in because he not only plays the lead, but also or co-lead, but also wrote it, directed it, produced it.
Yeah,
like it's a lot.
And Carey, you have to play. You're a character. You start. We meet you. You're just this sort of your character's this sort of budding young performer, actress, and then you fall into this sort of deep relationship with this other person. And really, the movie's about this relationship between these two people. And we go with you through your life, through this character's life, on this incredible journey, and we see all these different stages, and it's really impressive to watch some. People have done things like that before, but that's no small feat as an actor to go through that, to track that, to be present in all those different stages of that person's life. It is, I can imagine, is very difficult as an actor.
Yeah, but I think it was like Bradley did all the work. He did all the work on his character. I don't know how he does. He's some sort of like genius. It's just so crazy. Like the script, everything is just mad. So he was ringing me up. I'm sure he was doing this to you. He was ringing me up as Lenny like 2 years before we started shooting, FaceTiming. In character. It was madness.
Oh, wow.
I was putting the kids to bed and it would just suddenly be like, all right, mate.
Leonard Bernstein's on the phone.
Yeah, I'll call you back. But, he's just, so I feel like, and so then I got into it really early as well because I signed on in like 2018 and we didn't shoot till 2022. So I had, time and I had an opportunity to sort of really kind of do lots of the work. We narrated an opera together, in Philadelphia, one of his operas, so we did so much that by the time we got on set and we did this sort of mad dream workshop thing, I'm sure he told you about, where we sort of spent a week together, crying a lot. And so by the time we got there, actually, it was one of the first, maybe the first time I didn't feel completely terrified on day one, because I sort of felt like, we've kind of got our thing, and he just, he made it so that you could just basically do anything and it didn't matter. And that was so fun.
One of the things that I love about your abilities is that you every character you play, you're so sort of it seems in touch with kind of their internal stuff, and you're really you can really feel your character thinking and feeling before they're talking, before they're performing, before they're doing anything physical. That is something that's fairly. It's much easier to capture on film because camera is close to you. It can be, but on stage, you often have to consider the person in the back row too. Tell me about the difference in not in process and all stuff, because I don't want to put the audience to sleep. But was that a difficult thing for you to kind of calibrate, modulate as you went from theater into film, because you're so small and subtle in film in a great way. Yet I'm sure you can't really do that on stage and still be as effective. It's
weird because I kind of had to reverse engineer it, because my first job was a film. But I had done lots. I mean, I was never going to be like theatre. A musical theatre was what I wanted to do.
Really? Okay.
Sean just woke up.
I know. I'm pointing at his little box on the screen.
Which ones? And we'll go through them all.
Okay, cool. So I didn't really So I did Pride and Prejudice. That was my first job, and I played this little. I played one of the Bennett sisters and just ran around Jenna Malone for the whole summer, like giggling. And then I went to the Royal Court Theatre and did my first play straight afterwards, and that was like a real, and I didn't train, I didn't go to drama school, so I felt completely unqualified to do any of it. So I think I just sort of learned on the job, but I think I only ever found the difference being in reaching the back of the room with my voice, not with my anything else. So I didn't really think I did modulate anything, and maybe that's not. But I've also only played like maximum 1,000 seats.
But you definitely had a trust that people were getting it, were seeing it. You were communicating with the audience. And how did you get that trust, that confidence, that feeling without having gone through any sort of training or any sort of practicing or education in it? What gave you the sense that you were good at acting and that you knew what you were doing, that you were capable of it?
I don't know if I got. I mean, I feel like I just got. I got a really great part when I was 21. I got to play Nina in The Seagull at the Royal Court in London, and I worked with an amazing cast on that. And that character is just it's the most. It's sort of what I mean about not getting to play a part like Felicia on screen. That's Nina is sort of that kind of role. She really goes from this innocent, young, kind of naive wannabe star to someone who is completely kind of destroyed by her experiences by the end of the breadth of her experience. Is just so amazing.
But what I like Jason's question was like, what gave you the guts to think you could do
Well,
this?
I was trying to get to the place of like, which she's too humble to say, but that it's natural for you, yeah?
Yeah. No, I know. I'm joking because, that's right. Yeah. It is natural for you. And kind of like...
Sean.
I was going to say, kind of, Jason, you touched on it, but in reference to what you had said, Carey, that you said that you didn't go to drama school or anything, and you grew, and yet you lived and worked in this environment that very much there is a sort of a hierarchy in that way, because in this sort of the English acting and performing community, if you didn't go to RADA or if you didn't go whatever, there's like kind of like, who are you? A little bit. And you must have felt and tell me, I'm asking you, did you ever feel like an outsider in that way and that you had to work extra hard to prove that you were just as good as a lot of these sort of fops people who came out of drama school?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, the first play I did professionally was straight after Pride and Prejudice, and the director had to. So the first preview, they were all the cast went into this room to go and warm up, and I could hear it because they had the little speaker thing on, and I could hear it in my dressing room. And they were all going, doing all the weird like. And I just thought, fucking hell, like I can't. I'm in my whole body just like closed. I just thought, I'm not doing that. And the director, Katie Mitchell, literally came into the room and she physically moved me into that room and sort of just sat me on the floor and was like, just try. And I just sat there going, oh God, this is so fucking embarrassing. I can't. Like, no. But I think maybe towards the end of that, I started feeling a bit more comfortable. You know, it just sort of felt like, not just embarrassing, but also like, I look like such a tit. Like, I don't know what I'm, you know, any noises that I make are not the noises you're meant to make, or, you know. But it was funny because
Right, worried that they're going to look at you and go like, "What noises are you making?
That's
We're making
not the
these
correct
We're
noise."
making these ridiculous noises."
Yeah, and they were all like,
Right.
rapid fire doing Shakespeare monologues, and you know, it was just sort of anyway. But somehow, by the time I got to New York, we did the Seagull in London, then we did the Seagull in New York, and in New York, Zoe Kazan played Masha, and we became best friends in the world. And we used to go downstage on every night, and we would just sing "Do You Hear the People Sing" from Les Miserables on stage, and that was our warm up.
Yeah.
So
That was your warm up. Yeah, but that's good that you had at least
that
a
became
warm-up.
like the thing that, you know, so that I made my own weird noise. But so I think by the time I did that, I felt like, I kind of, not that I'm like, but I felt comfortable that I was an actor a bit
So
more.
now
Did you feel part of the club? Sorry, Sean, just to follow up on that part. Did you feel like at that point, you know, you became doing that? Did you, and you were having success? Did you kind of feel like, okay, like I've now carved out my own sort of path, and I don't have to worry about that other sort of stuff
And I
again?
have my
like,
own sound.
Sort of. I mean, yeah, sort of. I mean, sort of. I think I just, it all felt kind of fluky for a while, and but I still didn't feel. I mean, definitely when in theatre, I felt like completely. I loved just doing all the prep and all that, and feeling like completely immersed in the whole thing. Film, I always felt like, hello, you know, just sort of. Sorry, don't mean to
Just passing
to
through.
quickly stand in front of the camera and just sort of. Yeah.
What about but an education, right? Was that the kind of the first thing that really kind of pushed you out into? I mean, it was an Academy Award nomination, right? Was the change in climate, was it palpable for you? Was that an exciting thing or a nerve-wracking thing? Because a bunch of really cool stuff followed that.
No, yeah, that was totally. I mean, that was a 5-week shoot or something, and I thought maybe it would be on in a couple of cinemas, and you know, I had no expectations for that at all. And then we went to Sundance, and it kind of turned into this thing. So yeah, it was a big shift, and I think I regret not having as much fun as I should have done. I think I took it all quite seriously and was quite, and had a real imposter syndrome. You know, I'd be in rooms just thinking like, what the actual fuck
but did that come from a sense of, oh my God, what I always hoped would happen is it seems like it's about to start? Or was it, I had no plans whatsoever, this was kind of fun, and now this has happened, and now I'm expected to kind of make a career of this and be some big fancy actor?
No, I think it was all I wanted to do, but I think there was, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, good, right, I can get another job. You know,
Right.
It was that. It was like, this is great, because then, you know, the good part is that the directors are going to see this, you know.
And I'll bet you still feel like that, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
This profession, there's just no guarantees. You have
Yeah.
no idea whether you're going to be working 12
Well,
months from now.
I was gonna ask you that, Carey. Like now, with all of the incredible work that you've done, isn't there some sense of like, okay, I think I'll be working, or does that never go away?
I don't know. I think you always sort of, you know, you're always hoping that one person sees it and then wants to hire you. Or, do you know what I mean? Like you always feel, or that it's to someone's taste. I don't think it ever does go away.
Do you watch your stuff? Do you watch your...
Do you know, the only thing I've watched is Maestro. It's funny, because I don't really.
Really?
No. I've never seen, like, She Said, that came out last year. I saw Promising Young Woman once.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
Is it because you get self-conscious? Like, do you watch playback on set?
No.
Never.
It fucks me up completely. No, I can't. I can't look at anything, and I can't look at stills. I can't look at... Although, but Bradley was so, like... You know, he wanted us to sort of have a sense of what we were making all the time. So I watched stuff with him, and I've watched a couple cuts of... I haven't seen the final cut of Maestro yet. But I will, and I want to. But with most things, no, I just...
The progression of it is amazing. I mean, it was... The first cut I saw was already incredible, but the way he shaped it, kept moving it, it was just... It never went backwards. It was always... And he's a great filmmaker.
Yeah, he is.
I feel very privileged that you never watched anything, and I got to watch Maestro with you then.
Yeah,
knowing that you never...
And my husband watched it as well, and he's watched it now twice, and he's done. He doesn't like, you know, the sad parts. You can't watch the sad parts.
Yeah, of course. It must be. Yeah, it was so fun meeting you guys and meeting Marcus. Obviously, tell us a little bit. I mean, how you're married to, like Jason said, you're married to a rock star.
I always think it's so
Marcus
funny.
Mumford and Sons.
Yeah, Mumford and Sons. I don't know, the rock star thing always sounds so. I'm like,
well, it's true.
Rock star.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you must have. Did you meet him, Jason, when you were doing the video? You did the video. Didn't you?
I don't think we met that day, but I met you guys at Austin City Limits. At one point, we went. I was there for a Radiohead show, I want to say, and that was really, really cool. Yeah, we had a blast doing it. That was we did a video.
Who did that?
Sam Jones directed that. Sam Jones directed the SmartLess doc. Yeah, it was Sudeikis. It was Will Forte. It was me. And it was Ed Helms.
Ed Helms, yeah. And they pretended
we played
to be,
the band. Yeah,
they were the band.
In a very campy sort of, we're doing some, like we were the band shooting a video out in some barn and we were playing our instruments and just like, playing a bunch of grab ass. Yeah, it was ridiculous and hilarious.
Yeah, I loved it.
I loved it too.
I love it when Jay goes into that voice. You know,
well, because
that was
that was the comedic gist was that we're just a bunch of hicks playing guitar and having a good time.
Yeah.
Were you as interested in music before you met him, or were you like, or did it heighten it after you met? Were you like, oh, play the guitar in front of me, I want to know how it works, like, or did you not care then?
Your guitar
in front of.
I always loved. I mean, I wanted to do musical theatre. I loved musicals and all those sorts of things when I was growing up.
So you sing?
I can. I'm like a choir. I can choir sing. I can sing enough to hold a tune, but not good enough to do musical theatre. So that's why I kind of swerved into just straight acting. But I didn't. I remember seeing Marcus's band. Well, we were friends when we were kids, so we went to camp together.
Oh wow!
Wait.
Oh yeah, you guys were pen pals, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You're pen pals?
We went to camp together. We met when he was 10, I was 12. 11, we met when we were kids. And
you guys hook up then?
We didn't, but I wrote in my diary that he was the kindest person I'd ever met. And I gave him 9.5 out of 10.
Wow. What a score.
I know.
Jesus.
But I said
what score would you give him today?
He's getting, do you know what? He's getting up there. I'd give him a solid 6, but he's, and I also wrote in my diary that he definitely wasn't boyfriend material. I mean, not that I'd ever had a boyfriend at that time, but I decided that he was not it.
That's so crazy that you knew each other as kids and now you're married.
I know.
And you stayed pen pals for a while?
We were pen pals for a couple of years, then we lost touch. Then the internet happened and the internet happened. And we were both on Facebook for like 6 months, then we both left, so we touched base there briefly. And then we met again, when I was like 24. And
at that point, you guys were like, we keep running into each other. We are destined to be together.
Well, we should get married, yeah.
We should probably
wow.
get married.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have any conversations about how crazy is it that we both ended up doing public jobs and finding a really incredible level of success?
Well, what's weird is that we also, not long after we met again as adults, we both worked on the Coen Brothers movie Inside Llewyn Davis, and both independently were hired. Oh, hello, roomie. Sorry, someone's just come in. Just to say hi.
Should we hold?
Say hi.
Is it a roommate?
Say hi. Just say hi. Hi, I can't hear you.
Oh my God.
Hi, guys. Hey, roomie. Hi.
Listener,
we live together.
We have yesterday's guest sitting right next to today's guest, Miss
Emma Stone. Emma, how are you feeling?
I'm getting better.
Okay,
are
good.
You?
Carey's very sweet to let me be so close to her when she knows I'm sick.
So we are across the hall from each other.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Oh my God.
Emma, did you get the chicken noodle soup?
I got the chicken noodle soup, Sean. I didn't know how to reach out to you.
Oh, you don't have to. We're doing it now.
Wait, I have to show you a picture of it as it came up to the room. 1 second. Sorry, I promise. I'm going away.
She was sick, so I sent her over some chicken noodle soup.
I knew you would. When you said that you were going to, I knew you would.
Nice.
You didn't say it was from the three of us.
Interesting. This is how it arrived.
Oh God! Listen,
it was
all over the
just
place.
threw it in a.
It was Sean said it showed up like this.
What? Oh, there's a note. Oh, that is
This
so
is a-
sweet. It looks like a bowl of sick.
Yeah.
It does look like a bowl of sick. That's what it looks like. It was somebody barfed in a bowl.
I'm glad you didn't put our names on it, Sean.
Where was it from, Sean?
Oh, they're saying it looks like you barfed in a bowl.
It's like I barfed in a bowl,
just
but I
from
loved it. Thank you, Sean.
Sean, was it just from room service?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Check your bill because he might have just put it on your bill.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, bye.
I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute. I'll see you in a minute. Bye, 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 bye.
I hope she
That's so crazy.
She's my new
around the house.
nanny. She's nannying for me now. So she's
We
really...
just talked to her 2 days ago.
I know.
Yeah,
I said I
that's
was doing this
wild.
and I was like, I'm nervous. So
Oh, my
she's
gosh. You're not nervous
like,
anymore.
don't.
No,
You're not
no,
nervous
I'm
anymore.
fine now.
You know what I wanted to know because we haven't done this part of the interview process yet. How did we talked about you doing Pride and Prejudice and doing all these things, but what was the thing that? How did you start? What was your thing where you went like, oh, this is what I want to do?
Do you know, it's so funny. I said this to Kevin Bacon the other night. I was at this like tastemakery, thing,
Yeah, sure.
in New York for Maestro, and he came with his lovely wife, and they came over to say that they liked the film, and I said, you're literally. It was seeing you do this one-man show in New York that was the trip that So when I was about 14, I went to New York with my mum to go and see. We saw Cabaret, and we saw a play that he was in where it was a one-man show, and it was at the Walter Kerr Theatre, and I watched it and I thought, that's it. That's like this is like a magic trick, that he's doing this play for however long, 90 minutes or on just completely on his own, and then Cabaret as well. That trip, that was when I thought, right, this is the thing. And I got to tell him, which is so cool. And then when I went back to New York and did The Seagull when I was about 22, it was at the Walter Kerr.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's this amazing line in The Seagull when Nina, in the second act, she's talking to this writer that she's a budding actress, and she meets this famous writer. It was played by Chiwetel Ejiofor in London and Peter Sarsgaard in New York. And there's this, they have this conversation, and she's just sort of completely overawed by what a genius he is and how he creates. And at the end of and she falls in love with him. And at the end of the scene, he walks off stage and she's on her own and she sort of looks out over the lake, which is the audience, and she says, I'm dreaming. And I could never do it in London. For some reason, I just couldn't. I just always felt like such a knob. And I was just going, I'm dreaming, and then just walk off stage. And the director was always like, come on. And it was the first night at the Walter Kerr. And I looked out and I thought of this sort of 14-year-old me sitting in the stalls. And I said it. And it was the first time that I sort of really said it, And it was just.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was the coolest
I
thing.
love
That
that.
literally just gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad.
Was it? What was
That's really cool.
again, in my crappy research, I stumbled upon something and I can't find it now. But what was the show where the curtain came down and? Tell me that.
Was this a good theater story?
This is my. Well,
Yes.
I was going to say, Sean, this is my good theatre story. So I did this one-woman show called Girls and Boys in 2018, and I did it at London, the Royal Court, and then I transferred it to this little theatre in New York. And in the show, I played this mother, this woman. And at the start of the show, I'm in front of this curtain, and it's a monologue, and then the curtain comes up in a blackout, and suddenly you're in like someone's kitchen living room, and I had these scenes with these invisible children, and the play's very funny and then incredibly dark, and it's about 90 minutes, where there's blackouts in between scenes, and I just go back and forth in front of this curtain, and in New York, there's something. It was the first preview, and it was sort of about 20 minutes before the end of the play, and it had gotten to the sort of quite serious part. And I did the scene with the kids, and then when the blackout was going forward to stand in front of the curtain, and by curtain, we mean like a wooden metal kind of thing that comes down. And something went wrong with the mistiming of the curtain, and as I kind of came underneath it, it landed sort of on my head.
On your head, the whole curtain.
like a pipe?
Yeah, well, it just sort of struck me, and then I shoved away from it, and it carried on going down, because it just sort of
Because
comes
that
down
thing
like that.
doesn't light. That thing weighs a
No,
ton.
no, no. I mean, it's like a sort of wooden structure thing, and it comes down quickly because it was a quick kind of change into the next scene. So my hair was kind of fucked up, and I sort of it was unbelievably painful. But then the lights came up, and no one had seen it. So it's not like someone had seen an accident, therefore I could go like, "Ow, that hurts." So I just carried on. And did the rest with my hair kind of like, what? And then I got to the end of it and, finished the play and walked off stage and just burst into tears, and I was hysterical. And I was also convinced that I was going to die because I thought, you
Concussion.
know, head injuries, concussion, blah.
Yeah.
Went back up to my room, and I was, you know, it was this tiny, tiny theatre. It didn't have a proper dressing room. It just had like a curtain, sort of one of those partitions and a bit of a curtain. And I was sobbing on the floor, and, you know, various people are trying to calm me down. And I was going, oh, I think it's really bad. And then someone from the theatre comes in and said, I'm so sorry. Bradley Cooper's just sitting just outside. And Bradley had come to the first preview and was sitting on the sofa outside, just waiting.
And this was how many years ago?
This was 2018, so this was,
Okay.
yeah. And
5
so,
years
and then I said, oh, bring him in. And he came in, and he just got down on the floor and like looked in my eyes and looked at my pupils and was like, right, we're going to the hospital. So we went, and I was
Oh,
like,
you did?
God.
And he took you to the hospital?
Yeah, he took me to the hospital.
The first time you met Bradley, he took you to the hospital.
No. We had met a bunch of times before.
Okay.
He'd come to see me when I did a play with Bill Nye, because he's good friends with Bill, and we had the same publicist. We'd like bumped into each other at stuff. But yeah, he.
By the
took
way,
me out.
he's really good at taking people to the hospital.
This
I just
is
want
what
to
I
say that.
hear. I know. I thought I was special.
He just took Brooke, to the hospital last week. But I want to say, I don't know about you guys, Carey. I love when you talk and you're describing anything. You make anything. You could describe anything to me. I just want to call you. Can we be friends so that you
I'd
can just
love to be
describe?
friends.
I
Yes.
just want you to describe stuff to me.
Have you guys
Just like-
not met?
No, we
we've
met.
met.
We met at
You have
Bradley's.
met,
Yeah.
yes.
Bradley, but
yeah.
I just love listening to you tell stories. I could just listen to you talk about.
Well, can
your
I just
day.
quickly tell you, because I said at the beginning that I
Yeah, please.
what a massive fan I was of both of you in Arrested Development, but Sean,
Uh-oh.
Not so much.
That's
Sorry, was that not what you were going to say?
that's exactly what I was going to say. No, big time fan. And when I went
Thank you.
to Chile to meet the family.
the restaurant?
He goes, you go to Chili's once a week, right? Sean, you beat me to it.
I went to Chile, the country, to go and meet the family of the woman I play in Maestro in Santiago. And I went there before we started shooting what was meant to be a 3-day trip. And I got COVID on my way out. So I was stuck there. So I had to stay another week and a half. And my kids were in New York with my mum. And I was really, really horribly upset. So I literally couldn't leave my room. So I was in my room in Chile and I watched for the maybe 50th time Will and Grace from the first episode of the first season all the way to the end.
No,
and
that's
that was what and that was my
That's
happy
very
place.
sweet, Carey.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's
Every
so nice.
single episode. And it
Guys,
just
what
made me so
was your favorite episode?
Sorry, tell Carey, what is this Will and Grace? Was that a play?
Yes.
Is it a film?
It was
Will
a
and
Grace?
one-woman show. Yeah.
Oh,
One man, one woman. Yeah.
I love.
That's sweet, honey. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now,
I love it so much.
Thanks.
it's incredible.
It is
It truly is.
Jason.
No, I'm serious. I was a big dork fan of yours before I met you.
But Jason, you came to like 2 or 3 shows too.
Yeah.
Then you
you?
came to the very, very last show.
Oh.
Yeah.
You went to the last one.
Now,
Yeah, Jay was at the
I'm
very last show.
imagining, Carey, that with you've a very exciting life with all the fancy places you get to go for your work, but all the fancy places you get to go for Marcus's work too. What is did you meet the most impressive person in your work or when you were with him for his work? Like, who got you most starstruck? Because like actors always geek out around musicians and vice versa,
Yeah.
or athletes. Who's been the coolest person you've met with Marcus?
Springsteen was the coolest.
Yeah.
Ah, that's good.
by a long way.
That's
I mean,
hard
not
to
by a
beat.
long way. I've met lovely people, but
Yeah.
but Springsteen made me go. Oh! I and I don't think I couldn't really function. I just sort of, it just ruins me. I just
Yeah, but
love
going
him.
back to like the thing I asked you before, were you a fan of Marcus's music or that style or that genre, or did he open you up to be like, oh, like what did you listen to before, or was it the same then and now?
No, I was like S Club 7, Backstreet Boys,
Yeah.
Westlife.
Yeah.
There was a brand of music that they used to call. I went to boarding school, and the girls at school used to. My genre was Carey trash because I just listened to like
Carey
Yeah,
trash.
pure pop.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
Backstreet Boys, was that Justin Timberlake or was that in
And that's
sync?
NSYNC.
That was
Grant.
interesting.
Man.
Backstreet
Hey,
Boys
Grant.
was sort of.
But when you
contemporary.
didn't you work with Justin and Llewellyn?
in Inside Llewyn Davis,
Yeah.
where I worked with Marcus, and that was the thing I was going to say, that if we had not met as adults in Nashville, which is how we did end up meeting, we would have met on that job because we both got hired, independent of one another to do
Alright.
it, because he did the music and I did the acting thing.
Gotcha.
So you didn't really listen to Mumford and Sons before you Wow.
No, but I saw. So I went to a Laura Marling gig when I was like 19 at a sort of, church in London, and Mumford and Sons with the support act. That was one of their first ever gigs, and when he came out, I remember thinking, oh God, I knew a guy called Mumford. I went to camp with him, but he was so tall, and when I met him, he was tiny. Yeah. And then he started singing, and I said to my best friend, Moff, who was sitting next to me, I went, oh God, Moff is so shouty. Because it was very shouty back then, and I think he's less shouty now. But it was,
my God.
It was very shouty.
That's really funny.
I like that you're like, in my defense, it was very shouty.
It was.
Carey, be honest, how many Ace of Base concerts have you been to?
I never went to the concert, but I would have died to.
Okay.
I would have died to.
Same. I would have gone with you.
Yeah.
I would have.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about? Because I would imagine you've had some pretty low hanging fruit thrown your way because you're so successful. Like, hey, why don't you be the star of this crappy film, or let's give you all the money to do this. You always pick these incredibly tasteful projects, whether it be the premise of it or the people that are involved with it. Tell us a little bit about what's the most attractive thing about a project for you. Is it the character? Is it the script? Is it the director? How do you go about picking all these great things and never picking any stinkers? It looks like a lot of discipline.
I've been really lucky. I think I also, I don't know. I think largely big time director, definitely, but within that, my agent, Tor, who's been my agent for almost 20 years, she's like wonderful. And she's sort of family. And she, when an education happened and, suddenly I was getting offered jobs a bit more, she said, look, you're in this really rare part of an actor's career where you don't have to say yes to everything.
Right.
And that's a real privilege. And whilst you're in that place, you really shouldn't take a part unless you can't bear the idea of someone else playing it. So
and you've got this capital and it's yours until you
and if you can imagine someone else, one of your contemporaries playing the part and thinking like, well, that's okay, go and see it in the cinema with someone else.
Right.
And being all right with it, then she was like, then don't do it.
Wow.
But do you when you look at stuff, do you think like, oh, this is gonna work, or do you think, no, I have to do this because it really speaks to me, and this is something where I feel like I can. There's something about it that I feel like I can express myself in a really way, or whatever. Or do you think about the success of it, like, oh, this will be a cool thing, and people will think this is cool?
Oh God, no. I mean, I generally have a bit of a kind of, if it doesn't scare me, it's not enormously attractive, which is they're kind of masochistic. I mean, Girls and Boys, when I did that, the monologue, I couldn't get through the first page of a dress rehearsal until the first preview. I mean, I literally couldn't get on stage.
Really?
No. Like, there was something about talking. Well, do you know what else it was? It was that the first sort of 45 minutes of the play was funny, and that scared the shit out of me. Like, I was when I read it, it made me laugh, and the idea of having failed by not making the audience laugh just felt. I mean, I just couldn't. I mean, I could get out there and cry for England, but I think comedy is so hard.
And the idea of going out and bombing in that way and people not laughing. And
and also the play required that. It needed the first half to be funny because the second half was just devastating. So I couldn't just make it. It would just be misery porn if it was just. I couldn't do that, and that's
misery porn.
But you must feel more confident about your ability to be comedic inside your skill set and your taste. In other words, like you're not trying to be funny doing broad stuff. You're being successfully funny playing characters that are eccentric or broken or flawed, or like a Promising Young Woman. I mean, that's a dark comedy that it just seemed you were very confident with your dark comedic sensibilities.
I think with the theatre thing, it was that like. I just needed to figure out who I was talking to. There was that part of me that thought, what is the, is this a convention for grief or what? I just couldn't figure out who the audience was because I didn't have that other actor on stage with me to tell to communicate with. So I was like, the biggest block was like, who are these people that I'm telling this thing to? And then when I kind of figured that out, and do you know what else? I took my shoes off, and suddenly when I was barefoot, I could do it. It was the weirdest thing.
Really?
So I did the
really
whole
relaxing.
Run there. I just it was just grounded, and I was like, oh, okay. So now it makes, and then it became my favorite thing I've ever done. on stage, and I absolutely loved it, and I sort of mourned it for a long time. It was so
weren't you blown away by the first play you did, and then subsequently everything else? Weren't you blown away by the endurance that you have to figure out in order to do, especially a one-woman show, where it's just you, and the energy that you have to find every single day of your life to do that at that time?
It's mad. It's mad. And it just gets impossible with kids because
so you find yourself barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah. Well, I was pregnant on Broadway when I did Skylight with Bill, and like almost 7 months pregnant by the time I finished it. And I've never been so. And it was so funny because the baby would sort of respond to the applause, which I thought this was really setting us up for a problem. But yeah.
You speak of what for you now that you've got 3 kids. You've got, as Jason said at the start, you've got all this, all the acclaim and respect that you could ever want doing what we do. What for you is what does success mean to you now? Like, what would you go like at the end of a day or a week or a month? Do you say like, yeah, you feel like great because you've had all this stuff and you've had all the things. Like, what do you look for now? What are the things that are what are the mountains that you want to climb, sort of personally as a person?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I feel increasingly just sort of unbelievably lucky. We've got 3 healthy kids, and we both get to do jobs that we really love. And that's so. That I think that gives you a lot. That takes away a lot of kind of regular life stress. So many people have to work on jobs they hate, and and so many people, you just see more and more of your friends and people around you, sort of hearing stories of people's health issues or kids that have not, and it's just, gosh, you think constantly like, wow, we've managed to really swerve that stuff so far, touch wood, all that, like, thank you, Lord. But it just feels like that is, happy, healthy home life, and also like the ability to work and, whatever scale that is, whether it's giant films or whether it's theatre or whether it's just, but to be able to work and actually go and earn money doing something that you really, really love. There doesn't need to be any kind of trajectory for me. It's just, that hopefully next year I'll get to make another film at some point that's good with all of us.
I think your chances are good. Chances are pretty good on that.
Yeah. Things are looking up.
How had you worked with a director that was also acting in the scene with you before Maestro?
No.
How did you enjoy that or not? And what was Bradley's style with that? Would he direct you during a take, or would he wait until the end of it and be a director as opposed to giving you direction in character during a scene?
I loved it. He would do it. Well, he wouldn't do it like. Well, but he was basically Lenny from the minute you walked on set. So he was in his. Whole thing, dialogue, his dialect. He was chain smoking by the camera, directing everyone.
Wow.
Just so my sister knows, he plays Leonard Bernstein.
Yeah.
Bernstein, people say
Bernstein.
Bernstein.
Yeah, I kept getting it wrong, and Bradley was so annoyed with me.
And you play Leonard's wife.
Yeah, and I play his wife. I loved it. It was because he would direct me not through sort of giving me verbal directions, as in do this, do that. He would sort of mold the scene or play his role in a way that would affect mine, so it would be more in the way that he would play Lenny that would affect my Felicia than actually sort of, but he also gave me like notes, but but a lot of it was sort of, I'd find us taking it in a certain direction because he had kind of pushed it that way through playing his role the way it was.
Did any part of that seem interesting or attractive to you to do one day?
Big no.
No?
No.
Big no.
No.
Really?
Just can't figure out how he does it. I can't figure out how anyone does it. I think I don't know how you do it. It's just,
But you've been on so many great sets with so many incredible directors. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'd be able to say a word if I was performing for the Coen brothers. Them alone would be, or Steve McQueen, or these directors. You could cherry pick from so many great ones and probably do an incredible job as a director if you wanted to.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't have the heart for it. I think you have to love it so much because it's such an incredible amount of work. I think you have to absolutely love it to be able to do it. And I just don't have it. I sort of feel like such a jobbing actor. I just want to be surprised by something.
Acting.
So while you're here doing press.
While we've got you,
Yeah. While we've got you, what are you going to do? Do you have time to go hang out while you're in LA or do fun things, or is it all work?
This is a trap, Carey. Tell him you're busy.
So you're busy. You're busy.
You're busy.
Because I could I'm free for lunch. I can
Go for a hike.
like an early breakfast
Wall to
tomorrow.
wall.
No, do you know, it's actually, it's quite nice. Like today, I'm having lunch with, so I'm doing this thing tonight can I plug my charity?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
Is
Please
this
do.
Alzheimer's or
No,
the
this is
War
War
Kids?
Child. Yeah, War
Child.
Child. So this is not my charity. I didn't found this charity, but I'm an ambassador for this charity. So tonight there's a dinner, for like a variety dinner, and they're kind of giving people, prizes for whatever. So I have to make a speech, but we get $10,000 for War Child, and War Child UK is a charity that I've worked with for about 10 years that looks after children in conflict zones.
Wow.
So today I'm having lunch with Rob Williams, who's flown in for it. He's the CEO of the charity, and he is my absolute hero. And has been, an NGO worker for 30 years and runs this organisation and travels all over the world doing, amazing work. I mean, recently got back from Afghanistan where he was literally negotiating with the Taliban about women being able to go to work
Wow.
for War Child. So, yeah.
Like that has to be negotiated. It's astonishing. It's amazing.
It's wild. But they, obviously do incredible work and never more needed than now.
That's unbelievable. And it's unbelievable that there are people out there doing stuff like that. First of all, that you're involved with it is amazing. And then people out there doing important stuff. And obviously everybody's got their own thing. Sean was saying the other day he couldn't find parking on Crescent next to the Beverly Hills Hotel.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
And so he had to use the valet. But everybody's got their things.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
I know.
That they put up.
Is there a website, Sean, that we can...
Yeah. Thank you. That you can donate to?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sean Hayes.
People could click on.
And then, Carey, hang on, we'll get to you. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Gov. So, Carey, is there some sort of a website or if somebody wants to check out what's going on?
www.warchild.co.uk, and they do amazing
Warchild?
warchild.co.uk, or actually Children in Conflict is the American wing of the charity.
Gotcha.
But it's a lot of trauma therapy, so it's kids who are in the middle of war zones, helping them with art therapy and
Fucking great.
counselling to help them
That's really
recover
cool,
from
yeah.
what they see. Yeah, it's amazing work. Yeah.
What do you guys do that dumbs it down after you're finished doing your incredible smart work?
Oh, lots of television.
Lots of telly.
Lots of telly.
Now, this is reality television, or is it like
Do you know,
sitcoms?
I
or
do
is
a
it...
bit of reality television, but he is passionate about Below Deck, which is
Oh, I love
wow.
that Below Deck.
which I can't go there, but that's
I
his
go
thing.
there, and then I feel like I need a shower afterwards.
Who's deck? Below deck.
Below
Okay,
Deck.
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Below.
Oh, sorry.
Below
Below
Deck.
Sometimes
it.
Scotty and I play that.
Got it. And
Yeah,
when did you guys just, change who plays deck?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So you'll watch some TV.
Watch
Will
a
you
bit of
ever?
TV. Yeah.
Are you guys foodies? Do you like restaurants? Do you go over to friends' houses?
We
What's
do
the-
friends' houses. We
Yeah.
live, we do quite not mega outdoorsy, but quite outdoorsy.
Wait, what do you mean? Like camping? You guys go camping?
Well, no, he goes camping with
Really?
the kids. I draw the line at camping.
Yeah.
Now, what does the
too.
camping look like? Is there like a fancy van that they sleep in, or do they pitch a tent and do it for real?
Does a tent, yeah.
He's a real man.
Or like near where you live, or like up to the Lake District?
like outside our house,
Outside
Oh,
your
in the
house.
backyard.
that's
Okay.
great.
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah.
I do
Yeah.
that. I
You're
would do that.
sending the real man comment.
No. A big tent, though. It's a big
Oh, it's a large
Oh,
outdoors.
I feel like I need
large
to defend his
backyard.
honor. It's a big tent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A big
in a
backyard.
big field.
Got it.
It's legit.
Carey, we are over time. We owe you 5 minutes of dollars.
That's true.
Okay.
Thanks for saying yes to doing this.
My
Oh,
God.
Thanks for
Taking
having
a
me. I
little
was
bit
so
of time.
excited.
So cool.
Thank you.
Best of luck with all of the chat and giggle sessions you're going to have for Maestro. It's incredible and
Incredible.
well worth your talking about it.
It's incredible. There's a scene again. Before we let you go, there's a scene when you're folding the tissue paper that for me is just like an absolute. Just brought me to my knees. I couldn't believe it. Yeah,
Thanks.
so good. So everybody go see Maestro, and also
thanks.
one more time with the web address for the charity, please.
Oh, www.warchild.co.uk.
They need you right now.
Yeah, they need you right
and
now.
Sean, the one for the parking spots?
For the
So that's
parking
just
is-
Sean Hayes. That's my home.
Venmo.
That's just my home
Sean
address.
Hayes.
Venmo. Sean, go one really quick with your mobile number.
Yeah, so it's 310.
Okay.
Carey, have a great day. Say hi to Marcus.
guys.
And
Bye, Carey. Thank you.
Speak to you for the reshoots. We're going to do some reshoots on this.
Yeah.
We'll check your availability.
All right. What
Bye.
do I do now?
Thank you.
Do I just
Slam it shut.
do I?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Jason, what a guest.
Yeah.
You did it.
She's
What a
it,
guest you had.
right?
Oh, you did it. You done good, son.
She's like one of our great actors.
Oh.
I was just like, when I heard that Bradley was going to have her in the film, just like, it made me, when people put certain actors in certain projects, it just elevates. It makes it says to the audience, okay, this is what the film is, and this is what the film isn't. As well, right?
Yeah.
It just kind of gives it this wash, this patina of like, oh, we're in good hands here. She's that when it comes to casting.
Will, you got a movie that you're going to be doing with Bradley, and you were telling me about going through some casting, and it really does make a difference.
It's exciting. It's exciting, and Carey's one of those people who does, like you say, kind of raises it, and then over delivers. And I shouldn't say over delivers because it sounds negative, but she's so.
Yeah, when she comes to my house and delivers stuff, and she always brings extra stuff.
She brings too much. She over
Yeah,
delivers.
it's just like
How about that she and Marcus met? They were pen pals.
Yeah, that's wild.
And like that they met
friends
at camp.
in camp.
They were friends in camp, pen pals. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I wrote a couple good jokes.
He's working
Go ahead.
on a
No,
vibe.
Sean's got a couple good ones from the other day, please.
Hey, do you know what happened to the cow that was lifted into the air by a tornado?
No.
It was an utter disaster.
Sean, what was the one?
I have a belt. Jay, I have a belt.
Will, you killed me the other day about the cataracts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not my joke. I heard that somewhere.
We can't say it.
You can't
We
say
can't
it here, but it's a funny one.
But
Sean?
my other one was I have a belt made out of $100 bills. It's a waste of money. Come on. I heard a couple of little chuckles.
Boy, if you could do one right now, the third one, and that there's a bye in it, that would be really impressive.
Okay. All right. So what did the dad buffalo say to the kid buffalo on his first day of school?
I don't know.
Bye, son!
Bye, son. That's pretty great.
SmartLess.
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Michael Grant Terry, Rob Armjarv, and Bennett Barbaco.
SmartLess.
Today, hip-hop dominates pop culture, but it wasn't always like that. And to tell the story of how that changed, I want to take you back to a very special year in rap.
88, it was too much good music. The world was on fire.
Yeah. I'm Will Smith. This is Class of 88, my new podcast about the moments, albums, and artists that inspired a sonic revolution and secured 1988 as one of hip-hop's most important years. We'll talk to the people who were there. And most of all, we'll bring you some amazing stories. You know what my biggest memory from that tour is? It was your birthday.
Yes, and you brought me the Sade life-size cardboard cutout.
This is Class of 88, the story of a year that changed hip-hop.
Listen to Class of 88 wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge the entire series right now on the Amazon Music app or Audible.
There is nothing more joyous than the holidays.
Joyous? Did you say joyous? There is nothing joyous about Christmas.
Anyways, I have such great memories with my family decorating, listening to holiday music, and watching Christmas movies.
Sounds like a lot of noise to me.
Oh, hey, well, he's already interrupted my intro, so I guess I can reveal our next guest. The Grinch. Anything you want to tell our listeners?
Well, yes, actually. I have a new podcast. From Wondery, 'Tis the Grinch Holiday Talk Show is a pathetic attempt by the people of Whoville to use my situation as a teachable moment. So join me, the Grinch. Listen as I launch a campaign against Christmas cheer, grilling celebrity guests like chestnuts on an open fire. Your family will love the show. As you know, I'm famously great with kids. Follow 'Tis the Grinch Holiday Talk Show on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts.